What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back once again to Z Daddy's Garage. Today we have a few more parts in stock. I got my bomber seats in finally. We're going to show you those. It's not too windy today, so hopefully we can finish up the core support and we can also do the fender patch like I've been promising. Since we got some of this big block stuff done, I'm still waiting for a call back from the machine shop. Haven't really been pushing that issue because of money and time and everything else. I did get head gaskets in that I want to show you. I got my 30 over rings in that I want to show you. We're going to measure those today, make sure that they fit the bore right. What else do we got going on today? That's probably about it. But we're going to cover what we can and yeah, just kind of see where it goes. Real quick, while we're still in the beginning of this video, if you want to vote and comment live on decisions such as which valve covers I should use, or like on my door panels if I should do the cream or the black, go follow the TikTok at Z Daddy's Garage. That's where I'm going to be posting videos like that. TikTok is going to be up to date stuff because these videos on YouTube are about 2 months behind what's actually going on. Hopefully we can still work it out to where we do the reveal video right before we go to Biloxi, but we're going to have to play with it and see what we can do. Either way, live stuff is going to be on the TikTok. That's where you can go comment and say, hey, I like the Edelbrock Fend, or hey, I like the Yanko valve covers. And then we're going to take popular vote and go from there. So yeah, follow the TikTok. For now, let me go ahead and show you what we got going on here. So these are the head gaskets, Velcro 8523 PT1. So I did have that right in the last video. And you can see it has the correct water jackets in it. So apparently this block is an 80, I believe it's 85 to 94. So this would be a Gen 3 block. Actually, yeah, it says it right there. 80 to 95, excuse me. Yeah, for the 454s. So that makes me very confident that this is what caused the engine to overheat and lock down last time. I am going to have to get the heads magnafluxed just to ensure that they're not actually broken or, excuse me, cracked. Anything along that line. Hopefully they're not, because that's the reason I decided to use this engine as opposed to my other one. It has peanut port heads on it. So if these heads are bad, then that's going to be a lot of extra money that I wasn't planning on spending. But back to the point. Got the head gaskets in. I also got my 30 over rings in, so we're going to measure them to make sure that they fit properly. Stock big block bore is 4.25 or 4¼ inch bore. When it was punched out 30 over, so it should be 4.28, but it's actually 4.283 with my measuring devices. Like I said, I do not have a bore gauge, bore gauge, so it's probably not dead accurate, but it was accurate all the way around the cylinder for as deep as I could get calipers to work. So hopefully these will be within no more than 0.003 over what the specification is supposed to be. So come on, baby. There we go. So as long as they fall at less than 0.003 over, so we're supposed to be at 19.2, as long as they fall at, let's say, 22 or less, then we're just going to go ahead and run it, because at that point I got to order 40 over rings and file them all down, and I don't feel like doing that. It's not like it's a screaming hot rod anyways. So there's that. Yeah. Also, don't know if you can see it, but I got my mic on today. They finally showed up. So I'm going to try to be governing my volume, because it's kind of loud. But it's fine. It's fine. So, yeah, hopefully you'll be able to hear me better when I'm walking away from the camera. And, yeah. All right, let's get started. Let's do these rings first since we're already here. Just going to go ahead and set y'all up. All right. So these are supposed to be, let's just start at 19, I guess. There's 19. See where we're at. Okay, a little wide. So let's jump up to 23. don't have a 23. I have a 24. Okay, 24 fits, but it's real tight. So 24 puts me 4 point. Now it's tracking me. Anyway, 24 thousandths puts me at 3.8. Too big. I'm okay with that. So yeah, we're just gonna run the rings. Stop. Cool. Let me show you as well the cross hatching that is in here, just so you'll kind of see what's going on with it. Why is it facial tracking? I didn't start that. Anyways, so yeah, you might not can see it on camera, but you can kind of see it right there. So those, let's see here. You can see these marks in through here. That's called cross hatching. And cross hatching, come on. Cross hatching is what you get when you hone the cylinder. So that way there's a slight texture to it where you'll break your rings in, which leads me to believe that this engine had been built very quickly beforehand, or excuse me, very soon beforehand, when my buddy had bought it there, and just didn't last very long. So I'm gonna wind up rehoning it, because I can't feel that crosshatch. I can just see it. I'm gonna rehone it. That'll give me the seat that I need for my rings. So cool. Well, with that being said, let me take you over here. We're going to show you the, oh Lord have mercy. We're going to show you the bomber seats that came out of Jegs Performance. Sponsor me. Go over here to the old girl. Bomber seats. Like I said, when I ordered these, I knew they were not going to come with brackets. I thought I had ordered raw aluminum and not black, so that's interesting, but no big deal. At some point, hopefully before Biloxi, but we'll see. It came with these buckles all the way around it. I'd like to find me, I'm thinking like a dark brown, like a King Ranch leather color cover to go in this thing. I can't find it on Jegs. They only sell black, so I really don't know how it's going to go. I'm probably going to have to get them custom ordered, in which case it's going to cost me a little bit more than I'm hoping to give at the moment. But you know, hot rod stuff. You don't look good and you don't sound good, then what are you doing, dude? Okay, so that console came out of a 95, I think it was, Tahoe. And I've got to mount it, figure out where the gas tank, or how far back it can go because of the gas tank. And then my 256, I'm going to have to do a remote shifter up front to get it where I need it to be. But got me a console, got me cup holders for the first time ever, at least in this truck. T56. Woo! Come on, phone. What are you tracking? Cup holders inside. And I know these are probably not going to work, but, you know, at least I got me a console. Oh, Lord have mercy. So, I need to clean this stuff out of the way. Get the seat set in here. Figure out how high it's going to have to be. and how far this way and blah, 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 all that good stuff. So let me set you somewhere where you can see what's going on. Yeah, we're going to have to come up a good bit. We're a little low, which I like low, but we're going to have to come up a little bit. All right. Oh, that's a good idea. What if I make these things rotate? Not a bad idea. Because I just happen to have some Chevrolet wheel bearings. There we go. Some front hub wheel bearings. I could mount the seat to the wheel bearing. Wow, this thing is so screwed up. Okay, bear with me. I'm learning how to play with the new toys. Yeah, I can mount the seats to the wheel bearings and figure out some kind of latch mechanism so they'll lock in, and then I can turn and get out of the truck, which would be pretty cool. Maybe we'll look into that. Cool. All right, so I am going to go ahead and cut this thing. I got to clean off my fab table and get some metal cut and drag the welder out, get set up to start doing that fender, which I am definitely going to show y'all today, since we're pretty much as far as we can go with the big block. Yeah, we're pretty much as far as we can go with that. I'm not going to put the rods in it yet, even though I do have rings. I'm going to wait to hear from the machine shop because I don't think you can put cam bearings into a big block if the rods are in it. The crank you can, the rods you can't. So I still got to get cam bearings put in that thing. So I shall return momentarily. All right, I have returned. With El Fendro. These were the seats on the truck. Came out of like a 2002 or 2003 GTO. Pretty comfortable, but they didn't match the truck at all. So we're going to ignore this rust, at least for now. You don't really like that either, but yeah, I think for now we're just going to ignore that. Act like it's not a thing. I don't know why I didn't order a patch for that. Maybe I'll see if I can find a patch for that. If I can find a patch for it, then I'll throw her on there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so as I was saying in the last video where we started attempting to do this, and then the truck pulling down the driveway with my dad, he was needing the shop to get in and fix something. But yeah, anyway, where we was at last time was trying to figure out where to cut it. So I almost want to cut it along this seam, but I feel like it's going to be kind of hard to get lined up because it's not straight. So the seam comes and then it swoops down. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get that right. I'm almost thinking we just drop right below the seam. Still got to come in through here somewhere to save this whole hole here. It's going to be a little bit complicated to get her fit, I think. A little bit more complicated than the cab corners anyways. At least the cab corners I had kind of a rough idea of where it was supposed to be. This one, not so much. It's going to be kind of winging this deal. But we'll get some tape measures and some welders and some grinders and yeah, start working.
So you can see all of these little individual welds that have been laid out. Oh yeah, beautiful. So, I didn't get the backside. All right, so now the only thing left to do to this is to finish letting it cool again, and then get a grinder with a flapper wheel. Weep, knock all the high spots down, and then see if we have like a really, really low spot along the seam, or if it's really high, or what have you, and then do some massaging. We'll probably wind up having to do some Bondo along this weld as well before we weld it up. But since I did find those patches, these right here, a lot bigger than I thought. They got them coming all the way up here. So I'm just gonna wind up hacking them off like right here, if I get them. Because that is a good bit of rust. The problem with these trucks was, I don't know if you can see it. So the cowl, this is where your vents are. So the vents inside the cab draw air from here through your cowl. They're called cowl vents. And there was a hole down here in the corner of this seam right here to drain water out. Well, it wasn't big enough, and it would get clogged up with dirt and leaves and everything else and start rotting this section out. Well, when it would start rotting this section out, you had bigger stuff. Yeah, I can fit my finger in most of that up through there. When it would start, this bigger stuff would fall down into the fender here and start collecting, and road grime from the tires and whatnot would collect in this corner of the fender and rot this corner of the fender out as well. The driver's side is also rotten. I'm gonna have to go find it and show you, but it's not as bad as this one. So we'll probably, since they're only 52 bucks, we're probably gonna wind up ordering that as well. But we're gonna finish letting this cool off and then start the grinding. But take a look at that. The warping turned out better here than it did in the cab corners. Like I said, I rushed the cab corners a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie. But I've got one low spot here, which I might can hammer and dolly back up, but it's not quite right enough for me to just paint over it, I don't think. So I think I'm gonna wind up doing a skim coat of Bondo on it anyway. But I think we're all right. So that means we're gonna mix up some Bondo and start tuning it. All right, we are now back. It's fully cooled off. I got my Bondo mixed up here. So we're gonna slap us a little Bondo on this thing. Just to fill her in. Not exactly perfect, and I knew it wouldn't be, so here we go. Woo! Should have mixed up my hardener a little bit. It's fine. Mix her up. So it's not going to take a lot. We just kind of throw a little skim coat on it. Should probably have something beside the paint stick, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. be. All we need right there. Could do, make it a little bit better here, since I don't have any good squeegees. And 30 harden. No big deal. It'll file off. So, with that being said, that's gonna pretty much do it for this video. We're gonna let this harden up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and file it. I ain't gonna make y'all watch me sand it because that's a very long and boring process. So we'll let this harden up and we'll file it down. I have a previous engagement that I need to get to today anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and call it there. I appreciate y'all watching. Like I said, don't forget to go like the TikTok and the Instagram. It's all the same, Z Daddy's Garage. Both of those platforms are gonna keep you much more up to date. I'll be posting as I go with those. YouTube is about 2 months behind right now, so bear with me. We're getting better. I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing. You know, I love this stuff. This is what I do. This is what I spend all my free time and money on. So, thank you for joining me. We'll see you again next time.